In this exercise, we will be understanding how to create the function in the Swift with using the parameters. So we'll be doing some basic function calls and we'll see the various versions, how to create a function, declare a method and call them. Now the first one which we saw was without an argument. So I say simple method which prints say print hello world. So this method basically doesn't take any parameter and doesn't return anything. So if I call this method, I'll call this way, simple method without semicolon. Now suppose I need to create a method which takes some parameter. So how will I create? I say function method with parameters. I'll say, so inside a bracket you will say the variable name, say a, followed by the type int, comma b colon int. Suppose this function also do not return any type, so we say void, and we are not required to say void explicitly. So if you see, when you send the parameter, it takes parameter, so variable name comes first, which we call internal parameter, colon followed by the type. So in Swift we don't use primitive type with small I, we use int with big I, float with capital F, then double with capital D. Now here I'll say println parameters sum is backslash, I'll say a plus b. Typically, how will you call this? So we'll call using method with parameters. A I'll pass 10, B will I pass 20, and if you noticed, with A there is no label, but with the second parameter, the internal parameter comes as a label to the argument. Now Swift, like Objective-C, gives you a provision to express your parameter while calling. So it gives a user, a programmer, more information about what the parameters are and how they are associated with that object. So the concept of external parameter which exists in the Objective-C can also be applied to the Swift. So if I want to create a better parameter, I would have created better function, I would have created better method, I would have created first parameter followed by a colon int comma second parameter b colon int, and would have written print external parameters sum. So here typically in Swift we can have external parameter, internal parameter, type of the internal parameter. So when you call this method, you will call better 10, 20. Now in this function call, you can associate what 10 exactly mean, what 20 exactly mean. So basically the external parameter are visible while calling the method. So it makes your method more readable. Now suppose I want to use the same name as a external parameter as it's there for internal parameter. Now in Objective-C that used to be a lot of debate question, did receive response colon response the variable name. So people used to tell, why they have redundancy in a name, why cannot I have short-handed syntax where we can avoid using the same name twice in a function declaration. Now that same thing have been implemented in Swift. So if I want that A should be my internal parameter as well as the external parameter, I can use shorthand notation. So shorthand parameter, I have to use hash followed by the parameter type be it. Now there is no need for second parameter to have a hash, because by default if you don't mention any external parameter, it will start taking the internal parameter as an external parameter, which we have seen when we declared the first method with parameter. So shorthand is only associated with the first parameter, and second onwards if you do not provide the external parameter, it will assume the parameter internal parameter as an external parameter. So when I say shorthand, see, A will come along with the B. So these are the various versions in which you can declare the methods. So always provide the external parameter to provide the better information for the function call, which makes your project, your code look much more user friendly, more maintainable and scalable. Now, suppose you want to pass a reference as a parameter. In that case, you have to use a keyword called in and out. So reference parameter, you have to write in out, and you can have parameter name. So in this case, you can say println reference is a. So in order to call this method, you will say reference parameter, you will say address of 10. Now you cannot use an address, so you have to say variable b equal to 10, and then you have to provide address of b. So call by reference you can implement in Swift by using a word in and out for that parameter before you use the external parameter or the internal parameter. Now these are all instance method. These are called instance method. Now suppose you want to declare a static method which we call class method in the Objective-C. You have to write class func okay. Uh, let me go to a fun class. So okay, so you have to write class space function and the name, say class method. So class method, you can print saying class method. So class method will be called using a class like a static method. So I'll say app delegate dot class method. So you can declare a static method or the class method by writing class followed by function and the name of the method. Okay, and we have understood how to return the method in our first exercise when we were discussing about the label. Now once you created this, let's run those programs to check the output in our console. So all your parameter consoles are here. Okay, so application did become an application, all your functions are called, and then it did become active got call. So these are the all various ways you can declare your methods, and you can call them without semicolon. So these are the all the various version of declaring the method and calling them in Swift.